Please like and subscribe to the Couch and the Rube YouTube channel. Also, download podcast episodes wherever you get your podcasts. For sponsorship opportunities, email Jason at couchandtherube.com.
What do you get when you cross a know-it-all newspaper columnist with an awkward, unsophisticated everyman?
Yeah. Well, I'm just not sure about that right now.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube, our Wednesday show, presented by our friends at Front 43 Neighborhood Pub and Cask and Company Kitchen and Bar, the original Couch and the Rube sponsor. And one of the things they offer there are monthly wine, dinner, three-course meal specials. What they do is they pair it with a wine, and it's really cool. You sign up at caskandcompany.com, reservations for the Cask and Company dining room, and also for the private room. For the private room, it's $150 a table. Go to caskandcompany.com and click reserve, and you'll see it's all right there. It's a fantastic date night. If you're looking for a really cool date night, May 19th, the next three-course meal paired with wine by Front 43 and Cask and Company, caskandcompany.com. Jason, how you doing, brother? He's got a stupid-looking face.
He got it! Not talking about this.
I will.
What's going on, buddy? How you doing?
I'm great.
Is this a new part of fatherhood, you showing up before me? Like, you were here before me, and that has to be the first time in probably like 3 years.
I've been up since 3:45, so I mean, I might as well.
Dude, I open the door, and I look in, and I see Couch sat down already. I mean, for those that don't know, Couch is, before fatherhood, was notoriously late for everything. That still might be the case.
That's not true. Not everything. For this show, I would be hustling to get here. That was the difference.
Right.
Thank
but
you.
you would always be, always. That's what you guys that sit in that chair do, though. You always run behind and come in right when the open hits and all that other shit. But it was just funny. I was like, oh, maybe this is a part of the new fatherhood thing. But yeah.
Well, there is a point once, like, we're on shifts, and once I'm no longer on duty, and there's like we had a diaper blow up in the noon hour, and like Elizabeth's in control. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna head downtown. I'll see you guys. Good luck.
Go down and see my buddy Jason. I'm sorry, I got to get out of here.
We got to talk some MSU basketball, some Lions, some
What
Tigers.
Time does the show start? Noon.
Yeah,
actually.
Don't worry. It's going to keep getting earlier. I'll be getting up at 6 a.m. Yeah, don't worry. I'll be in here for Michael Patrick Shields, and that.
I promise the listener we will stop talking about loaded diapers here. The next couple shows, it'll be all over.
Hopefully.
You have to tell Couch, we don't need a full description.
I will share the first time, because I think the listeners would enjoy it. The first time there's like a blow up on me.
Absolutely.
I think people would enjoy it. Yeah.
No, I understand. But it's, it's some people, it's like wall-to-wall parent talk. And I couldn't imagine if me, being without a child, listening to this podcast, be like, all right.
Yeah, we'll keep it to the funny stories.
Two old fuddy-duddies can get past this loaded diaper thing already. But yeah.
Which, granted that I once told a 3-minute story about oatmeal, I'm not sure I know what a good story is and when to tell it, but I will try to keep it to funny stories about fatherhood. So, yeah, I'll keep
Appreciate it.
I'll
that and soccer bets.
So yesterday, I tried to lure you in. It was one of those moments, and I try not to do this with you with soccer, where
What are you talking about? You've done it 3 times in the past 2 weeks.
I know, and that's discipline. That's me with discipline. It would have been like 20 times. So yesterday, there's this Champions League semifinal, 3 o'clock. It's PSG versus Bayern Munich, and it was for like 70 minutes. It was like the most up and they missed a lot of shots too, but it was 5-4. Maybe the two best teams in the world just attack. And I was like, gosh, this is amazing. I just wish Jason could turn this on. Of course, as soon as I tweeted that out, a couple people tuned in, and nobody scored the rest of the way because the teams were too exhausted. But they play again next week on Wednesday, so in the second leg of the semifinal. And I would advise people watch that if they can, if their schedule allows you to be home at 3 o'clock on a Wednesday.
At least there's some excitement going on. Unlike the NBA games I watch, where there's a stoppage every 12 seconds and a review. Right. And so, yeah, I know. Like I said, it's not about the sport itself. I know those guys are great athletes, and I think the games, there's continuity to them. It's just guys like Graham trying to suck you in. Like, listen, I'm good, man. I don't even watch enough hockey, let alone, God forsake, watch some soccer. That's crazy talk. I mean, I have to sit there and watch Tiger games, break my heart, and then I have to watch soccer too now.
We will get into the sad state of a couple things Tigers a little later.
All my teams suck.
We're going to talk Pistons.
Why is this? I swear to God, there's some times where you sit down, and I'm sure it'll happen tonight when the Pistons lose tonight, possibly to the Magic. But I'm going to sit there and go, why do I do this? Like after the Reds game or the Braves game last night with the Tigers, I go, why do I do this to myself? Why? I watch all the games. I really do. I love sports. I will never stop watching sports. But that's the passion I have for my favorite teams. It's like.
But that's when you know you're a true fan. When you're addicted.
I get to brag? Well, I'm a true fan. Well, yeah, you're an idiot. You sit around and watch all this depressing shit. It's all depressing, though.
Has nothing to do with bragging. It's when you're a true fan of something.
Well, now I can't brag. I mean, if I can't brag, I just look like a complete ass.
Well, no, you can brag. I'm just saying it's not about bragging. It's about it's the emotion you feel when you genuinely care for something versus if you're just pretending to be a fan. Is what I'm saying. If you are truly a fan of something, to the point that it sucks you in regardless of good or bad or whatever. It makes you feel dead inside when they're horrible and gives you hope. You put your heart in their hand. That's a great feeling. You have to watch. That's being a true fan. And the value of that, the reward for that is when things actually do go well, you get to experience it at a high level. Well, I don't know. Was
it last year when we were up 15 games on the Guardians and couldn't clinch the division? Or
Yeah. Maybe. But
the Lions losing to the Steelers. I thought about that game yesterday for some reason. I think there was a picture in the digital frame. Then I'm just going, fuck.
Well, we're going to get into the Lions. Yeah. We're going to have Nick Baumgardner join us shortly.
Oh, yeah. And there has to be some good news coming from Baumgardner.
We'll talk Lions draft and the Lions a little bit, and we'll talk a little bit college sports with him as well. There is a lot of interesting stuff going on in the college landscape here. First of all, we'll talk a little bit of MSU because the big thing that's transpired since our last show is
got screwed again.
The NCAA's new 5 years of eligibility or 5 seasons of eligibility in 5 years looks like it's going to be pushed through, but they are not going to include this past year's seniors. And so Michigan State is now again sort of the unlucky loser with timing because going back to Joey Hauser, Joey Hauser was one of the last real prominent players not to have to sit out, and he was. Again, he had some tough times at Michigan State, but he was rolling coming out of his freshman year, and I truly believe if he played in 2019-20, he might have been the type of player that put them over the top. However, I will caution this. That year, of course, ended with the pandemic, and I don't know if having another player who made that team even greater it might only make it more painful. If he was like,
but you just made it more painful for saying that. Like I never thought about having Hauser on that team would have put them over the top. So you just made it worse because if you never would have said that, I could have went out about my day. After I just gave you this whole thing about how depressing all my watching my favorite teams and then watching Michigan State get screwed again in this 5-year rule. But thanks, Graham.
Well,
appreciate it. Should have put that in the 3 takes today. Really piss people off.
There will be lawsuits. I did put it in the quick takes today.
Oh, you did?
I did. Yeah,
I must have missed the third take.
But there will be lawsuits.
You want to get Ant Wright on to talk about it, so he can do a victory lap about the Natty too. Might as well just make this whole thing.
Put it all in his veins, as he said, or what he said.
Sponsored by Xanax. Fuck me.
No, I mean, there is clarity to some degree, and there will be lawsuits, and I still think there's like a 50-50 chance that this year's 4th-year seniors have a 5th year next year, that stuff comes through the courts with the judges ruling pretty quickly. But I also think it does maybe complicate the timing more for Michigan State, for guys like Carson Cooper and Jaxon Kohler as they sort of try to plan next steps. I mean, all these guys cannot wait around. They can't just wait to try to hook up with, whether you get drafted or you're in the summer league or you're looking for a European club. Like, you have to move on with your life. You can't wait for the courts to see if you get this opportunity. If it works, it might. But I think for the time being, we have to assume Michigan State now will not have Carson Cooper or Jaxon Kohler, and we'll go with what they have, which includes Anton Bonke, who they signed the transfer out of Charlotte, presuming he pulls out of the NBA draft. He's not really an NBA player, so I think that's going to happen. And I have watched more on him. Like I do think the more I watch on him, the more I think he definitely raises Michigan State's floor. And as long as he is serviceable, and I think he will be, and I think he'll do some things very well. I think he's good touch around the rim. I think he'll be good on the pick and roll lobs from Jeremy Fears that Carson Cooper did so well. I think he may be a guy just based on his trajectory shooting the ball that becomes a really good 3-point shooter. He's at 34%, taking about 1 a game last year, so he's somewhere between Kohler and Cooper. And given where he was in junior college 2 years ago, and then 3 years ago, and then 2 years ago at Providence, like he's growing in that area. So there's the thing I'm a little wondering about him is defensively what he is, and again, that's the key to doing anything at Michigan State is can you guard ball screens as a big man? But I also don't think they would have turned their attention to him the way they did if they didn't think that he could handle some of that. So we will see with him. What's also interesting, though, is that because of this 5-5, which everybody's been so focused on Cooper and Kohler to some degree, but you got to think, first of all, this is across the board. This will change a lot in a lot of sports. I don't think it's good for high school recruiting. I don't think it's good. It's going to be a mess in college hockey, where you get a lot of kids who come out because it's supposed to be whether you graduate high school or turn 19 first, your 5-year clock starts. A lot of kids finish high school in hockey and then go play in juniors for a while, so their clock's already turned. Like the NCAA, clearly, they don't have a lot of people think through every little thing. Some of their sports, this doesn't actually work for, and they don't think through that stuff. And we'll get to that.
5 years across the board for all sports.
Yeah, they don't quite think about.
Should we talk about this? Nah, no, across the board.
But with MSU basketball,
so dumb.
All of a sudden, Bonke, who would have been a 1-year guy, I think, because he played 17 games JUCO, 17, or some games at Providence, and then now he's going to have 2 years left. Cohen Carr potentially has 2 years left. I think fewer guys will play all their years at one school because now you have 5 years and you're going to get recruited over more often. But some guys will. You might get Cohen Carr for 2 more years. You might get Caleb Glenn for, I guess he redshirted this year. So the redshirt year also, see, that's the other thing. See, a guy like Caleb Glenn, if he was good to play in this past March, could have been used this past March if this rule had been in place earlier. I don't know that he was 100% good to go, but that if you redshirted a year, and that's another place I think there are going to be lawsuits for guys who redshirted before this was in place who are already playing. Will they get grandfathered in and get a 6 year? I think there's still going to be some mess to this because I don't really know when you look at like 5 years versus 4 years, what's different when you start suing for more eligibility and the ability to make a living and injuries and waivers. What's different from 5 to 4 other than the number of years when you go to court and you get some of these judges who are not sympathetic? And now the NCAA is winning more of those cases, so who knows? But for this particular MSU basketball team, I think it's a little more set in stone, or at least etched in granite. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. Fuck. But point being, I think we have a little more
etched in granite.
We know what I don't even know what that etched in.
I mean, it's etched in stone. But
right.
If you want
granite
to
is a stone. Yeah. That's yeah. So that's where things are there. The other big thing.
But by the way, just real quick, like where are these lawyers being? I mean, like who's paying for the lawyers?
Well, the lawyers are paying. The lawyers want to make money off.
But I mean, are the players they're going to have to hire attorneys? So they are paying out of pocket, or who pays for those?
It depends on the situation, whether it's like a class action situation or whether it's an individual player. And some of these lawyers want to. That's a good question. What the actual legal contracts are with some of these players.
I mean, some would be pro bono because they want their name attached to something. But there's nothing for free anymore. So.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. The lawyers are the most...
We just say it flippantly, like, oh, yeah, there's going to be lawyers.
Well, they've been the most annoying voices in all of this, all the time. Sure. And it's not that they're always wrong. It's just that, they're always on the obvious side. I wish a lawyer would say something that wasn't obviously in their benefit, just once. It would be nice. The other big story, though, and that's gotten a lot of people up in arms, including me, is the expansion of the NCAA tournament. And the 76 teams. And everybody goes, well, it's just 8 teams. You see a few people saying that. No, it's 12 teams. Because here's the thing. The key to the 68-team NCAA tournament is we could ignore the first 4 games in terms of bracket pools and everything else. It was essentially a 64-team tournament. When you get to 76, it gets harder to ignore. The deadline for pools and all the casual eyeballs that are used to Thursdays at noon and being a part of things and taking what's a niche sport all year long into the real, into a much wider audience of people who don't pay attention all the time and equates to some of the eyeballs you get in the NCAA tournament. All that stuff is at risk when you move something to Tuesday night and now it's like there are all these, play-in first 4 games or whatever that is, and there are enough of them that you can't completely ignore them in your bracket pool anymore. So you're essentially adding 12 teams because we used to ignore the first 4.
So now you just ignore more games.
I don't think you can do it because there's going to be too many teams. Maybe you can. The other problem, it doesn't solve anything. It'd be one thing, you could talk me into this if you were like, well, we feel like mid-majors are being squeezed out. This is a way to get more of them in. But when you look
that would be a lie.
Yeah, they're not going to do
about
that.
More money.
If they were like, hey, we're gonna include regular season champs as well from the top, automatically from the top 10. You don't have RPI anymore, but top 10 rated leagues based in net or whatever it is, and that would allow the top mid-major leagues to automatically get a second team in, or at least their regular season champion. Like that sort of thing I could get on board for. Okay, this is a way to really try and showcase good teams instead of this year Indiana and Auburn getting in. Just shit teams that are all year to prove it. We don't need to see them again. It negates from the regular season because if you've got, if Indiana's already in, if Indiana, like think about that Indiana team this year, if they're in, the hell, I mean, what are you playing for?
And are they considered a Cinderella if they make a run, though, too?
No.
Because you're record shit, but you're still...
That's a good point. Yeah.
Are you considered a Cinderella now? It's just like it doesn't make any sense to
be a Cinderella, you have to be a little guy, I think. You can't be a...
That's the only way.
You can't. But
shit, look at Auburn making a run.
There will be value in avoiding those play-in games on Tuesday and Wednesday. I get that. But like it's just nobody wants it. It doesn't fix or improve anything. I don't even think there's that much more money outside of maybe more games to bet on, which the NCAA should be the
TV contract with True TV.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be more weeks. They're up against the Masters on one end. The season ends when it ends on the other. It's just not. I don't really understand the value of it for the
just
NCAA.
Automatically think you're going to make more money if you're the NCAA. If we add more, that means more money. Anything we shit out and put out, it makes money. So let's just keep putting things out. But why, if with 12 play-in games, though, Graham? I mean, who is that geared towards?
Well, it's the coaches kind of
gamblers. It's geared towards. I'm saying if they're going to think they're going to make TV money on it, it's for gamblers. And the way gambling's going, and the way these sports books, they squeeze you so much to where it's not even fun. I don't even know how much longer the excitement of gambling for a lot of people, because a lot of people are losing a lot of money that are normal people. And when you're losing that much money, you're going to lose all. Why would you want to keep doing that? Right. Yeah. So when these games, when they have these 12 games, like I'm talking about 5 years from now, like how many people are still gambling as much on sports then? And when you have 12 playing games that no one gave a shit about really when there was 4 teams, now you have 12 and the NCAA sitting there with a shit product and there goes your money. But now your tournament is less than because you're going to 76. Like you have to think about the future of these things. You can't just like, we need to expand because that means more money. And the NFL does it all the time. It's just their product's undefeated and they can't be fucked with.
And the people who are making these decisions are stewards of the game, stewards of the sport. They don't own this. The fans own it. They're not going to.
Well, why do we should get more of a say?
Well, but we should also get rid of these people. I mean, the bottom line is, and what I don't want to hear is coaches. You don't want Tom Izzo or any of these coaches being for it and then complaining about other shit. Right. Because if you're for this, if this is your analysis, I really don't care what else you think about much, because this doesn't make sense. And we had something that was great. And look, in the grand scheme of the world, are we bitching about something that's not important? Yeah, but there aren't a lot of things in college sports right now that have just, are great. And the NCAA tournament is one of those things we've had. We love it. Yep. And you don't need to screw with it. And I'm telling you, you screw with that bracket. You screw with the casual eyeballs. You make it complicated where people, I got to have my pool in by, Tuesday at 6:30? Yeah. I'm paying attention Tuesday. I'm not saying that you and I won't occasionally watch Tuesday or Wednesday night and there won't be some eyeballs on it, but I don't see where there's that much more money. I think coaches want it not to get fired. Administrators want it. Big Ten commissioners want it.
Yeah, but if you're the last ones in, it just changed. It just moves the post. Meaning, if your coach keeps getting into the play-in game, you go, this guy's ass. So it just changes. You just don't. You get to play an extra game, or get to act like you're in March Madness. I just don't think why coaches think they're going to skate because you get into play-in games season after season.
I will be rooting. I don't root for people to get fired because I don't like the way we discard people in coaching and everything. However, I will, when this happens, root for coaches who are in the play-in game at high majors to be fired. That's what I will do. Just to be a jerk, because I am so sick of it. I don't want this to be something people can say, hey, I get.
Why is it being a jerk, though? It's a lame way to think if you're a coach. It's a terrible mentality to have. It's like, please expand it to 100 so I can break Tom Izzo's consecutive streak record one day.
Yeah.
It's lame.
Or call it a true play-in. So it's not considered the NCAA tournament if you want to do that. But either so, it's not to me.
You can rename it, rebrand it, whatever you want.
Anyway.
Stop messing with something that's good. It's like, especially like these fast food companies, it's like they can't just have a thing. Like Taco Bell has to serve you chicken fucking nuggets. It's like, no, you're Taco Bell. Keep making delicious burrito supremes that I enjoy.
And if you're behind this, and there are a few people, Seth Davis, of course, raises his hand. Come on, Seth.
Really?
Yeah, a few people are.
He's happy about this.
Yeah, but he's, anyway, I don't want to get into that. But
why do that?
Yeah, but
they're entertained on a podcast.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm just saying, like,
throw it out there vaguely and don't
answer. He is
predictably
for this. People who are.
So he's a shill.
I'm just saying, people, we talked about this with insiders and all this. People who rely a little too heavily on the upper crust of college athletics for information.
You sell your soul to the devil, and you know that. I didn't know Seth Davis was one of those guys, but
I don't know if he is. That's the thing. That's why I wanted to be careful, because I don't know entirely if he is.
Was he going to sue us or something?
No, I'm just saying I disagree with this opinion. I disagree with anybody who thinks this isn't bad, and I just want people who are really for this. It's one thing not to think it's the end of the world. That's fine. That's a fine opinion, because it's not the end of the world. But I do want people who are for it, who are pushing it, to raise their hand and explain themselves. I've not heard one good explanation yet. And if you aren't willing to do that, and I'm not seeing anybody out there doing it who's pushing it, then there's shame behind it. Then it shouldn't be happening. And it's really hard to take you seriously in anything else you complain about. If you're a coach and you're for this, don't bitch about other things. Don't bitch about an NIL. Don't bitch about anything reasonable, because you are truly behind something that is not reasonable, that is just dumb, and you're not really willing to explain it, other than it serves your profession in some cases.
Why do we talk about sports like they're no big deal? It's not the end of the world. It's possibly it could be. If you mess up with this NCAA tournament, the NCAA tournament goes away. We don't. College basketball fans don't have anything to watch anymore. In March, we're all depressed. Civil War, boom, boom. This thing, nuclear. World's over.
I've never seen it.
So it's possible.
It is, I guess. Yeah.
People care about sports, Graham, like I do. It would ruin me if the NCAA tournament went away or did something or whatever.
I've never seen
this. Just seems like the start of it.
The 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon from the NCAA tournament to
possible.
Iran.
The world could be over.
All right. When we come back, we're going to talk with our friend Nick Baumgardner from The Athletic about the Lions. We'll talk about this as well. Couch in the Rube, our Wednesday show, presented by our friends at Front 43 Neighborhood Pub and Cask & Company Kitchen and Bar.
Where else can you cheer on your team, enjoy a mouth-watering burger or savory sushi, sip on handcrafted cocktails, or one of 46 beers on tap? Take your game day or date night to Cask & Company Kitchen Bar or Front 43 Neighborhood Pub near Frandor. 2 amazing places with one awesome blended modern American Asian menu. Catch the game on one of 30 60-inch TVs or stop in for the all-you-can-eat lunch buffet. Enjoy happy hour or elevate your night out at Cask & Company or Front 43 on East Saginaw in Lansing. Ever wonder how comfortable you can be and how good you can look? Put on a Muskox flannel and find out. Muskox has new arrivals for this fall, including the Caper Green Grand Flannel, which even makes couch look good. Muskox is a Detroit-based flannel company that creates soft and durable flannels made to last a lifetime. They become a great partner with Couch in the Rube, not just because they make us look good and feel good, but because they're good people too, and a socially conscious company. For every $100 purchase, $10 is donated to the Alaska Wildlife Conservation. Muskox flannels are designed with 100% cotton that is ethically sourced and double brushed for softness. Feel the quality and comfort of a Muskox flannel by ordering at GoMuskox.com, where Couch in the Rube listeners can enjoy $15 off their flannel purchase with the promo code HOFF. Come enjoy irresistible, award-winning, handcrafted donuts and locally roasted coffee at Groovy Donuts. Surprise your family or coworkers with special holiday designs and flavors, or put the perfect finishing touch on an event with a custom order. Birthdays, weddings, gender reveals, our friends at Groovy Donuts are your answer. Experience the Groovy Donuts difference for yourself on Lake Lansing Road in East Lansing or in Williamston. Get more information or place an order at groovydonuts.com.
Please like and subscribe to the Couch in the Rube YouTube channel. Also, download podcast episodes wherever you get your podcasts. For sponsorship opportunities, email Jason at couchandtherube.com.
Couch in the Rube, our Wednesday show, presented by our friends at Front 43 Neighborhood Pub and Cask & Company Kitchen and Bar. an awesome place for a date night to catch a game. If you want to watch the Pistons Game 5, Game 6, whatever it might be, and be somewhere near alcohol, which you may want to do. Front 43 and Cask and Company is here for you, just north of Frandor on East Saginaw, near the Lansing-East Lansing border. Very pleased now have a few minutes with our friend Nick Baumgardner from The Athletic, who covers the NFL draft, covered the Lions for a long time, covered Michigan football. He's been, he's went to Michigan State. He knows, he knows ball, knows the rivalries, and knows the draft. And what else do you know in life, Nick? Anything?
That's about it.
Okay.
That's what my wife tells me. That limits it right there. That's about it, Graham. How are we doing?
I'm well. Yep. That's if you've got a few things, just keep to those skills. Stay in your lane.
I limit it to that, and I just call it a day. Yeah, that's where I keep my strike zone. Yeah, exactly.
Well, before we get to the draft, I do wonder your take on a couple things here. One, the 5-for-5 eligibility change, 5 years or 5 seasons, 5 years to do 5 seasons, and the impact that'll have on college athletics, on college football, on everything. Because I think there is going to be an impact people don't even realize right now in high school recruiting. But how do you see that?
Yeah, I think that's that was probably a long time coming, quite honestly, because it's been so disjointed for so long with the waiver processes and all of the. I remember back when. This all kind of started when kids started challenging the hardship waiver, like the who are you to define a hardship and all this, and it was so convoluted and such a mess that we got, and after COVID it got even worse, obviously, with the 6-year stuff and everything else. From my job standpoint, from an NFL draft standpoint, this makes it way easier if everybody just has 5 years to finish 5. That way you're not sitting here being like, well, maybe this guy will hang around another, whatever. It is what it is. You have the time you have, and then everybody has to move on. It gets a little difficult at times when you're like, okay, well, this guy's like a 6th-year, he's like a 24-year-old, 25-year-old guard, and he's playing pretty well, at the end of his college career. But but he's a grown man playing against. So there's some of that's been happening too in the last couple of years. But I think I think that's how it should be, I guess, for the most part. If you're going to get yourself into a situation where people are challenging everything, so I think that's fine.
I've seen people complain that I don't know if complain's the right word, but point out that the NFL draft later rounds have been watered down by the number of players coming back to college because the money's better if you're going to be a 5th or 6th round pick or whatnot. But eventually those players do come out, right? I mean, it's not like exactly. I understand for a moment, maybe you get a year or two where that corrects itself. Am I right? I don't really see the issue.
Yeah, it's not watered anything down, I don't think. I think this year was just kind of a blah, draft. I think that's what this was more than anything else. What it has done, though, is it's just made it unpredictable to say, like everybody used to say, and people are already doing it this year with the whole, the next year's quarterback class is going to be elite. And it's like, well, you don't know that. You don't know who's going to declare and who won't. And beyond all the other stuff, too, you don't know what's going to, who's going to transfer and who's going to do this and that and the other. So, I think that that's not something that would be a huge issue going forward. I think it evens itself out. It just becomes a little less predictable to say, this is going to be a loaded class as opposed to this is going to be a whatever class. You're just going to have to ride in the moment a little bit more on that.
All right, let's talk some Lions here. I read you and Scott Docterman did the analysis of this. And you guys are going odd even. And I believe it was Scott had the Lions pick in the first round, which he gave a B plus for Blake Miller. Did you agree with that? Would you give them a B plus? Yeah.
Well, I would have given him an A. I mean, I thought that was a great pick. Scott's being a little tough there on Blake Miller, I think, because I think that there were some questions from some that why would you have him ahead of Maxey and Hanker? I think Scott, maybe had some of that. And then some also, on some other guys too, Caleb Lomu. I think some other people were higher on him too. But Miller was, for me, a guy that I had no problem with because of all the things that you put together, he's the steadiest hand of all of them. There were questions with whether or not Ian Hanker was going to be ready to start. There were questions about which side, Lomu was capable of playing on. I didn't like Caden Proctor. I thought Blake Miller was the 3rd best tackle in this draft. Right behind Fano from Utah and Maui Noa from Miami. And it's just, to me, he is a more athletic Taylor Decker. My comp to him for the Lions even took him was Taylor Decker. And I think that that's still fair. I think he plays a similar style, and I think he'll have a similar floor and ceiling in the NFL, where it's not maybe superstar all-pro, but a guy who, when he's healthy, playing at a Pro Bowl level. And I think it opens up the run game, too. I think it really does with Sewell going to the left side. Now you can do some more stuff. So I'm interested to see how it pans out.
Yeah, I mean, how much is left to do on that offensive line before next year?
Yeah, I think that nothing. I mean, I think you got to decide who your left guard is. You have to have some competition there. But in terms of bringing people in, I think they did what they needed to do. I mean, if they're moving Sewell to left tackle, that's settled. He's going to play next to your weakest guard, whoever that is, which makes sense. Which is, I think, what you always kind of wanted it to be in the first place. They were at their best when he was at times next to Glasgow. And then you had the center upgraded with Mays. Ratledge, I think, will be an improved player, was a pretty good rookie as it was, but will continue to improve at right guard. And then you either have Blake Miller or Larry Borum, or maybe a combination of, until Miller is ready to take over at right tackle. So I think that you have your answers. It's just a matter of, who sorts out left guard. Maybe I would have said, if there was one critique I could have, I would have maybe liked them, although I don't know where they would have gotten the money, to find one more veteran to compete at left guard, because I'm not so in love with all the options they have there, but guys around them are still pretty good.
All right, second round, third round, you guys gave the Lions an A, and that include the Derek Moore pick, the edge from Michigan, and moving up 6 spots to get him. What do you like about Moore?
Yeah, I thought that was a perfect compliment to Aiden Hutchinson. I think that's exactly what you're looking for if you're the Lions. If you look at their strategy here, I think it's to have a guy on the roster like a DJ Wanham that they just signed, who can play those early downs against the run, and then they want to find a guy who's athletic, who's long, who's explosive off the edge, who can basically come in on second and long and on third down and just work opposite Aiden Hutchinson and win one-on-ones and be cheap and young and go about doing it. The other guy I liked there was Gabe Akis from Illinois. I liked Moore a little bit better. I think he's a better athlete and a little bit longer, and I just think he's pretty good against the run. And I think when you give him one-on-ones opposite a rusher like Hutchinson, he's going to look way better than what he actually is. Like, if Derek Moore had to go to some place and be like the man, I would have concerns. But like, if he's having to play opposite one of the best in the business, I think he's exactly what you're looking for. And then the same kind of thing with Rolder. I think he's going to get to play next to an elite player in Jack Campbell. Jimmy Rolder plus Malcolm Rodriguez makes a pretty good weak side linebacker next to Jack Campbell. So for me, I think that those picks made an awful lot of sense.
Is there anybody else in the draft that you really like for them? Somebody you think will see the field and make an impact?
Yeah, the one other guy that I thought, and then it started to taper off, I really liked their first 4 picks. Keith Abney, the kid in the 5th round, I had him as a top 75 player, the cornerback from Arizona State. This was a really deep cornerback class, and I mean, I think that this is just a thing that happens every year where good corners get knocked down, and we saw that again this year where a bunch of them, be it injury concerns or just whatever else, if teams didn't need him, they get knocked down the board. And I think Abney was just a result of that. He's a really physical player, doesn't light up the athletic chart testing or anything else like that, but a really smart player who's very physical. I think will fill the Amik Robertson role, basically, that they just left. So all of those guys at the top, Miller, Moore, Rolder, and Keith Abney, I think they're all going to play next year. I don't know if Rolder and Abney will start, but I think they'll be in the mix in the rotation, right? So I think that all of them are going to play important downs, and I think that that's a pretty safe bet.
So when you look at the Lions right now, I mean, they came out of last year. I mean, they've been decimated the last 2 years by injuries during the season, and it feels like that's more than other teams. But other teams go through similar things, and they couldn't be last year. They could not be who their identity had been, right? I don't know if that was phrased correctly, but you get what I'm saying. Do you think they have done enough to either have that identity back, or when you look at the rest of the division and the teams in the NFC they've got to compete with, you see them having done what they needed to do to be back near or at the top?
Yeah, I think they've gotten themselves in position to have a chance. It's hard to say because, you're not going to ever get Ragnow back at his peak there when he was really hurting people inside. And that was kind of the key to it. It was him inside with Sewell. You also had Zeitler in there, and that's when they were really at their peak. But I do think what they've done with a guy like Mays, and we'll see how much better he gets. He's been a solid player so far. He's still pretty young. You've given yourself an opportunity or a chance now you're no longer limited on what you have to call with your inside game. Last year, Graham Glasgow struggled over the ball. There was only so much they could do. Now it's all on the table. And then the addition here, too, would be Sewell moving to left tackle. Essentially, you're replacing Taylor Decker with a new right tackle, and possibly, let's say it's Blake Miller. You now have 2 tackles who can both pull and screen and do all the same exact things. So now all of your run calls are, it's completely unpredictable about which side you want to go to. There'll be no preferences. So I think they're right back to where they were in theory in terms of when Ben Johnson and that offense really took off, and they had every single call on the sheet that they could call no matter what. And that's kind of what happened. I mean, they were really, really unpredictable, hard to understand what they were doing, where they were coming from, and it was because of the way they run blocked, basically. And I think they've now given themselves at least a chance to get back into that spot. We'll see if they can execute and get there.
The picking up the 5th-year option on Jahmyr Gibbs, I mean, that makes sense. You want him under a contract as long as you can have him. I do wonder with there are very few running backs where you look at and you go, you really keep him beyond the rookie deal. But the player and the impact he is for them, is he the rare guy that even beyond this they're going to have to bite the bullet and take a chunk of that salary cap and give it to him?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think him and Jack Campbell, I think they didn't do the Jack Campbell option only because the market's all messed up with that. I think they plan on paying both those guys. But Gibbs for sure, I mean, I think that he's the special. Him and like a Bijan Robinson are the two right now, and maybe even Jeremiah Love if he gets to that point. But, those are the guys where you take them away and you're like, well, my God, you just took away like one of the most dangerous weapons we have no matter what the situation is. I mean, teams, the way I always look at it is like what guys on your team does the opposition have to spend, extra time on? Like they're staying up late at night, and it's Gibbs. I mean, for the Lions, I mean, we can say what we want about St. Brown and Williams and some of these other guys, but it's Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, his ability to do everything in the run game, plus be just pretty much lethal in the pass game when they play the two backs at the same time, which I'm sure they'll continue to do. That's another problem in and of itself. So he's just so unique, and I think that I'll be very interested to see what that contract is even because it'll probably be a market setter, I would imagine. There's just not – Bijan Robinson's the only guy I can compare to Gibbs right now in the NFL. It's just hard to compare him to anybody else given all he can do for an offense.
As you begin looking at the next NFL draft, how far in the process are you along already?
I mean, I know the basics of your top 50-ish, what we're looking at here, but it's so early with at this point, it's hard to make those – claims, right? Because I think last year when we say those things at the time, it's like, well, you had guys that fell apart last year, it didn't work out. So this year you still have a lot of guys, like it's interesting, a guy like Drew Mestemaker, the kid from North Texas that went to Oklahoma State. And all the scouts love this guy. They think he's great. They think he can be great. But we have not seen him do anything against, we're only going to see him at Oklahoma State, so we're really not going to see him do much against a really big-time schedule there either. But it's like you've really got to wait and see on a lot of these guys. So a lot of it is just, looking at it from a lens of what maybe can be as opposed to what will be, because that'll show itself later in the season. So the summer is more of an optimist's heaven, I suppose, because you're looking at what can be more than what is, I suppose, right now.
Yeah, like who knows? Michigan State could have 10 first-round picks next year. This could be the year,
exactly.
the year it happens.
A lot of links on that. Yeah, right. You never know. It could all click and turn around. This is when we all look for the good stuff.
A lot of Kenneth Walkers on that roster.
There you go.
From what I understand. Nick, I appreciate you taking the time, man. Always love talking to you. We'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Yep. Anytime, Graham.
Appreciate you. That is the great Nick Baumgardner from The Athletic.
I totally turned your mic off. Sorry.
That's okay.
I should have actually during that last part where you guys were just yucking it up, chuckles about Michigan State's the demise, and it's really great that you guys could have a good laugh.
Sorry, I was just trying to be funny.
Everything's hilarious right now.
Trying to create good content.
Good Lord.
Yeah, sorry.
Pistons. The Lions, hey, things are looking up.
You like what you hear from him?
Of course. Yeah. Well, that's what everybody's, has also been saying. It's hard to be mad at this draft except for the edge from Michigan of trading up. Did you pay too much in that? But other than that, you filled all the gaps. So,
yeah, I mean, I think, that's right. You're not going into a season going, boy, they really need this. I mean, like anything, I think with the Lions more than just because of how snake-bitten they've been injury-wise, that's what we're all fearing this year. That's what how do you put together a season where for once in November and December you're not playing with your 15th cornerback and just decimated by injuries, and what does that look like, and how do you get there? My take on this. Nobody else agrees with me.
Maybe we don't put the pads on so early in training camps, or
practice less, practice fewer.
I'm just asking.
Yeah, well, no, look at Cignetti is onto something here, and the coaches are going to follow this. They practice short practices, and his teams are healthy late. There's something to that. Efficient, short practices, and maybe you lose a little something in the The tackling.
But I just think that we know too much. I mean, medically, with these guys, every little thing, and we'll talk about it in a second with the Tigers, of, my God, these guys must do body scans on a daily basis because they have body parts I've never fucking heard of, and there's a little tinge to it, and you have to, we have to review it in a week, and it's just frustrating. So it's like these guys are being held out longer because of injuries that happened prior, like a decade ago. These guys would be back.
Well, you know how scarred I am. I root for injuries early in the season that are only like 6-week injuries, knowing that they'll be back late in the season.
It's so stupid.
Yeah, it is dumb. It's dumb.
I mean, it makes sense, but it's just so it annoys me, and I'm sure others, that it's a right take, but it's so annoying because I don't want to have to do that. You're rooting for injuries. Right?
How many people that listen to the show are just annoyed by me on a daily basis?
It's one of us, I'm sure. Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah.
But that's what makes you lovable, because you take a punch back. Like you have self-awareness. If you didn't have any self-awareness, could you imagine the show? It'd be the Schuling Report, I think.
I know that's me. I know people who have a lot of my opinions who have no self-awareness, right? And it's it's not a great.
Oh yeah, there's some that work here. I think
it's a tough
show. Bob.
It's a tough listen. All right, we are going to take a quick break. We come back. We're going to talk Pistons. We're going to talk Tigers. We'll do some golf bets as well. Couch in the Rube, our Wednesday show, presented by our friends at Front 43 Neighborhood Pub and Cask and Company Kitchen and Bar.
Where else can you cheer on your team, enjoy a mouth-watering burger or savory sushi, sip on handcrafted cocktails, or one of 46 beers on tap? Take your game day or date night to Cask and Company Kitchen Bar or Front 43 Neighborhood Pub near Frandor. 2 amazing places with one awesome blended modern American Asian menu. Catch the game on one of 30 60-inch TVs or stop in for the all-you-can-eat lunch buffet. Enjoy happy hour or elevate your night out at Cask and Company or Front 43 on East Saginaw in Lansing. Ever wonder how comfortable you can be and how good you can look? Put on a Muskox flannel and find out. Muskox has new arrivals for this fall, including the Caper Green Grand Flannel, which even makes couch look good. Muskox is a Detroit-based flannel company that creates soft and durable flannels made to last a lifetime. They become a great partner with Couch in the Rube, not just because they make us look good and feel good, but because they're good people too, and a socially conscious company. For every $100 purchase, $10 is donated to the Alaska Wildlife Conservation. Muskox flannels are designed with 100% cotton that is ethically sourced and double brushed for softness. Feel the quality and comfort of a Muskox flannel by ordering at GoMuskox.com, where Couch in the Rube listeners can enjoy $15 off their flannel purchase with the promo code HOFF. Come enjoy irresistible, award-winning, handcrafted donuts and locally roasted coffee at Groovy Donuts. Surprise your family or coworkers with special holiday designs and flavors, or put the perfect finishing touch on an event with a custom order. Birthdays, weddings, gender reveals, our friends at Groovy Donuts are your answer. Experience the Groovy Donuts difference for yourself on Lake Lansing Road in East Lansing or in Williamston. Get more information or place an order at groovydonuts.com.
Please like and subscribe to the Couch in the Rube YouTube channel. Also, download podcast episodes wherever you get your podcasts. For sponsorship opportunities, email Jason at couchandtherube.com.
Couch in the Rube, our Wednesday show, presented by our friends at Front 43 Neighborhood Pub and Cask and Company Kitchen and Bar. That's near the Lansing-East Lansing border on East Saginaw. An outstanding place. If you're in Lansing or in East Lansing, it's like a 7-minute drive from anywhere in the Lansing area. It's easy to get to. Great lunch spot, great happy hour, great dinner, great date night. And if you're going to go on a weekend night, I do recommend making a reservation, especially on the Cask and Company side. Easy to do, caskandcompany.com. You can make a reservation. You can write whether you want to be in a booth or whatever. It's one of the easiest systems you'll ever deal with. Caskandcompany.com, and that's for Front 43 and Cask and Company. Jason, we were talking at the beginning of the show, or maybe before the show, so people don't know this. So I probably should, but about the Tigers watching last night.
Yeah,
and Javi Baez going down. Do we have an update on Javi yet?
Yeah, Baez. Well, the worst. I mean, the one with Casey Mize, because Casey Mize had a routine ground ball hit to him. Yep. He turns around and then underhands it to first base, and then it gets pulled. And I'm like, what the like, he didn't even wince, really. I'm kind of gingerly kind of a thing. But he's out, and then a couple innings later, Javi Baez to first base, where he slid like one of the worst slides to first base in Major League Baseball history. Like, Javi Baez, say whatever you want about him, but he has to have one of the most embarrassing mixtapes of shit he's done in Major League Baseball with the stuff he swings at, and this slide to first base was just wild, and he injured himself. Apparently, the update is they did scans, they did all the testing. Both guys feel good, and that's pretty much all you're going to get out of it, which is annoying.
Well, that's good, though, because Baez has become an important part of things. So is Mize, and he's a huge
but why
part.
are we pulling Casey Mize? I mean, this isn't. They did it last year as well when he had I don't even know how you can tell he has a tweak.
Well, my question is, how do you get as somebody who's played a lot of co-ed softball, right?
Yeah,
Who's
so
not a great athlete. Yeah, but I'm just saying Mize and some of these guys get hurt in ways that even I never get hurt. Even though I've never seen anybody, I've seen lots of injuries on a softball field.
Yeah.
Never somebody doing what Casey Mize did yesterday. How does that happen in that situation?
And I understand these guys are paid a lot of money and you want to make sure everything, but do they have to be 100% healthy every game?
Well,
do they have
it's
to go
April. You want
to
make
fuck?
Sure.
I understand, but what we have to pull the guy in the third inning because we're nervous. Not for Tommy John, for a fucking groin. You can't just grind through it for another 30, 40 pitches. That's what just bothers me about these. And I don't think it's Casey Mize telling everybody, to pull him or anything like that. I think it's the training staff. They're all over this and the team. It's just, what are we doing to the pussification in sports, though? You want your guys. That was some of the greatest times in our lives. Like Isaiah versus the Lakers and scoring 25 points on one fucking foot. I mean, stuff like that. Like Nolan Ryan pitching, complete games. That's what, as a kid, you were like, oh my God. Now, if you're a kid, you're like, it's just mandatory. You're watching Luka Doncic on the Lakers. He might not even play the next series. What the fuck? There's 9 games. There's 9 days in between games.
Right?
So what? What the fuck?
Well,
it's the playoffs. Grind, baby. We have so much technology, and LeBron's playing till he's 55 fucking years old, and Luka Doncic can't be bothered to even try to play game 1 of a next series when there's 9 days in between games. I mean, it's just you pay all this money to watch these sports, these MFers. I'm getting pulled in the third
Well,
inning.
I mean, Magic missed, the 1990 finals with
for
a hamstring.
AIDS. He had HIV.
No,
that's
years before HIV. This is a hamstring. You remember? He pulled his hamstring in game 1 and then missed the rest of the finals. I mean, hamstrings are something
but that was
can't...
off his bone, though. That was that's when you knew, though. Magic has a hamstring injury. Okay. Not a hamstring tweak, tinge, an itch or something like that, to where the guy we just don't. We're gonna have to review it in 3 weeks.
I don't have a problem with caution in April. I'll say this too. I did
that much caution though.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
Fuck.
With the pitcher in April. No.
Well, you're to blame for the pussification of sports. Then
I do. I did bet against the Tigers last night before the game.
Of course you did.
It was a weird gut feeling.
You have a Guardians ticket for the fucking Division 2, probably.
No, the problem is, I look at Casey Mize's face, and I'm not saying it's a stupid-looking face, but it's a bet-against face. And when I look, he's got kind of these
fucking Reese Olson has that face,
puppy dog eyes, and it looks like he's just going to get his ass kicked. And every time, the Braves are hot. The pitcher they were pitching against, even though he's more of an innings eater than somebody who's going to mow you down with a big fastball, he's a lefty, and it messes with the Tigers lineup. And then I just look at Mize, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to bet against the Tigers. I just had this feeling. It wasn't that I wanted. I knew I wasn't going to see the game.
Well, why wouldn't you have that feeling? We barely have seen him in the past 5.
Yeah.
When did he get drafted? 2019. We've barely seen the guy, so I don't blame you for having that.
Well, I'm happy.
Right groin tightness, not even an injury; it's his tightness. Yeah. Are we stretching before the games?
It was a weird way. It was a weird way to get hurt.
And why is Matt Vierling hitting cleanup? Why is he batting fourth? You can't sit there. You can't. If you sit there and call out AJ on anything, of course, I don't know as much ball as AJ and his fingernail, but it's just when you ask these things, it's what are you asking that question for?
When they face a lefty, their lineup can get wonky, and I don't love that.
I just don't get it.
Let's talk some Pistons as well.
Oh God,
the down 3-1.
Want to talk about the worst day of my life too? When I found my mother dead or something. Let's just keep it going. Jesus.
Holy smokes! Are you comparing that to the
This is really, it really has taken a lot out of my soul. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to compare it to that. I just didn't, other than 9/11, I don't have another day. I was just trying to be funny. Sorry.
I mean, like, we try and play off each other, but when you go there, I don't really know how to play off of it.
All of a sudden, I just go dark.
Yeah. It's okay.
Great if I could just have 15 minutes.
Because I remember that day, you know.
I understand. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring it up. That it was meant to be like a joke. But
it's not.
Because it's just the Pistons as a 1 seed, because apparently everybody but me knew that they were ass. And I feel like a complete joke because I don't watch as much ball. I've watched Pistons games all year, but I really despise the product the NBA's become over the past 4 or 5 years, so I don't watch as much. So I can't see these things coming of a 60-win team, which looked like they had a cohesive unit together. I understand it's not the shooting that you want, but to come out and play like this against Orlando.
So that's it. For me, it's like it's not about whether they win this series so much. I mean, I think if they won the series, obviously that would be helpful to the way people feel about
a hot
them.
take?
But I think it's also the way they go down swinging. How does Jalen Duren look? Does Ron Holland get in the game?
Game 4, they look like they don't even like each other. Did they find out something?
Does Cade Cunningham, can he stop turning the ball over? And look, these guys are all under 24 and under. Like, I understand this is their first. I don't want people, like, it will impact how much you pay Duren. Oscar Thompson is somebody they're very, very high on.
He can get out.
You know,
Oscar Thompson can get out.
They got to work with him.
His defense is not worth watching him on the offensive end.
Well, it's tough right now, but he's a young player.
The fucking turnover. By the way, the turnovers in Game 4, like 20-some turnovers. That was ridiculous.
So, yeah, whether they can come back or not. I mean, there have been a number of 3-1 comebacks, right? And so we it not been one since 2020.
This is what you do when you have to kind of just try to boost your mood a little bit. You look at how many teams come back from 3-1.
We've had 5 since 2015.
Yeah,
and before that it was 2006, 2003.
I remember 2003 Pistons Magic. I was at every home game of that series and watching Tracy McGrady and watch him talking shit and then ending up losing that series. But
I think they're missing another on here. I thought
only Graham Couch would call out AI.
Well, I know. My memory of, wasn't there a year that the Suns with Barkley had a 3-1 lead on somebody and didn't win it? Wasn't one of the Rocket years? Oh, it is 95 Rocket Suns. Sorry, I missed it. I thought it was earlier than that. Yeah, Rocket Suns. Mm-hmm. My bad. They did not screw this up. Anyway,
I think you have something wrong. Hey, here's the smartest computer we have, Graham. I might fact check this. With this guy.
So it's doable, and you know the thing is as well, like you might see it this year with Denver, Minnesota. You have injuries, things like Franz Wagner's out now for Orlando. That changes them a little bit. Orlando is not
chipped a fingernail. He has to be out for 2 weeks and be examined later.
I think it's actually a calf strain. Which often becomes an Achilles tear. So
well, yeah, those things lead, and then a calf strain. Yep. You go up to the freaking, the quad up into the pelvis.
I just want to see the response. They're home tonight. It's Jalen Duren. Like, can this guy look like the player?
Tickets are $30 tonight.
Is it that cheap?
Yeah.
Yeah, that tells you something.
I mean, can you blame anyone? I don't know if I'd want to go tonight, and if they throw a stinker out there, I would be even more depressed.
Well, they can't do that. I mean, this is a game, and for a lot of those guys, you talk about Jalen Duren, there's a lot of money on the table.
Yeah.
If they go out at home and lose Game 5 and he looks like he's looked, it's going to greatly affect his contract. He still has a chance to rescue this a little bit, but he's going to have to play.
The only way he can rescue it, we come out of this series, we win somehow in a Game 7. He's a big impact, and then he has a good rest of the playoffs, and we can maybe possibly forget about this. But the other thing in the game, Graham, of just watching those guys, because Orlando wanted to give that game back. That's the most frustrating part, is like Orlando didn't even want to win. It's not like Orlando is playing so well in this series, like everybody was telling me, like Orlando, they're finally getting guys healthy. Orlando blows, by the way. They're not a great team. It's just the Pistons are playing like absolute shit.
That's why they're an 8
that's what's
seed.
bothering me.
Yeah, but it's also like Orlando physically. I do understand, like, just from a pound for pound matchup, Orlando is a tricky matchup for the Pistons. I don't mind.
But everybody saw it coming. That's what I mean. All these people, 3-3-1. It was like, you know what? I actually said before the series that the Pistons are, an overrated franchise. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I didn't think that. I thought the Pistons would win this, and but I thought it would be a series. Like, I thought it would be, they'd have to work for it. I thought they'd lose a couple games. Maybe I thought there was a chance they go to 7. I didn't see it looking like this. I didn't see Duren looking like this.
This is wild.
They
don't seem like the same dudes.
No.
And that's what bothers me. That's what scares me. If Orlando came out and they're shooting 50% from 3 and they're just dominating us on the inside and everything, but Duren just looks like a completely different guy. I don't know if Cade his other lung collapse. He doesn't seem excited to be there, trying to rally his guys and dumb turnovers and all that. They just don't seem like they're the same dudes I watched all season long. And that's what annoys you even more. And then people telling you, but anyway, I told you so.
I think that's part of it too. If you're somebody who wants the Pistons to do well, it's this national. Well,
it doesn't matter whatever you root for. If you all of a sudden you're rooting for it, and someone's like, you know what, that team ain't going to do shit, and then it happens.
Yeah.
What are they?
It's
doing?
frustrating. And look, I've said it before. I think the NBA should want the Pistons to win because when the 60-win team.
What does Silver care?
Well, this
product shit.
But if you want people to care about the regular season, the 60-win team that gave a shit all season, if they lose to the underachieving dysfunctional 8 seed that has more talent than and puts it together late, that's not good. That tells you the regular season doesn't mean anything. That's not what you want. You don't want that sort of dynamic.
Don't worry, Adam Silver's got it all figured out with his new lottery thing. He's trying to restructure. That was pretty funny this morning watching Dan Patrick and his guys try to figure out what. They're trying to
just make it too complex.
Yeah, it's just and those guys couldn't figure it out. It's pretty funny to watch. So.
I do like that you get few. I mean, there are a few things you can do that I like. I do like the idea that the bottom 3, get less of a chance slightly of ping pong balls than teams 4 through 10. There's something about that I like. I like the idea that you shouldn't try to be at the very bottom, but beyond that, they're probably making it too complex. I like that you can't be in the top 5 3 straight years. There are a couple things I kind of like. But overall,
when you convolute things and just have all these like underliers, you're like, oh, no one can remember it. Yeah.
All right, Norm has some golf bets this weekend. What do you got for Norm?
Right, and you know what's really funny about these golf bets? I got to say, there's one that I don't like, so I'm going to tell people to steer clear of it. And that's after I give them out. But you have to give them out if you bet them, right? That's what I do. I do bet these, by the way. Top 20 for the Cadillac Championship in Doral in Miami. Top 20, 3 guys. Russ Henley. By the way, this is a signature event, so there's no cut. So you have a little breathing room because some guys can come back since there's no cut, kind of chop away. Russ Henley, Siwoo Kim, and Keith Mitchell all play well here. Top 10. This is the one I don't like because I saw Jake Knapp. Jake Knapp's my guy, but he might have a little wrist injury thing going on, so be wary of Jake Knapp. The boots on the ground guys that I followed yesterday were seeing Jake Knapp having a little issue with his wrist. Didn't hit driver much of the day yesterday. But Chris Gotterup and Jake Knapp, top 10. That pays out 10-1. And winner without Scotty. I'm bringing that bet back, which diminishes the odds because Sepp Straka is a guy that normally would be like 65, 70, 80-1, even with how bad some of these books, the numbers they give you on these. But winner without Scotty Scheffler, which means Sepp Straka, who I'm picking, at 47-1. All he has to do is finish second. So you don't, it's kind of like you don't have to worry about Scotty making that 3rd round, 4th round push.
Love it.
But yeah, man, betting golf, it's so hard because unless you get ahead of it, Graham, 2 weeks prior and get the number you want, because some of these guys, and I love Jake Knapp, but he's like constantly 33-1 to win these tournaments. Especially a signature tournament where all these top guys are there. So it's frustrating because I do love watching golf and love sprinkling a little bit on the golf bets, but some of the numbers are horrendous.
I will have some soccer stuff for you this weekend.
We're out of time.
Yeah, and we'll do that Friday as well. We appreciate all of you listening to us, and even when we try to be humorous and talk about dark things. We appreciate Nick Baumgardner from The Athletic. You can read his coverage there. It's worth a follow. It's great stuff on the Alliance. Good analysis, as always, from him. We'll be back Friday with Groovy Donut Twitter questions and give what we're betting, presented by Firekeepers and the Firekeepers Eye Casino and Sportsbook app. We also appreciate Front 43 Neighborhood Pub and Cask and Company Kitchen and Bar. You will love their menu. You'll love their drink selection. You'll love the vibes. If you've never been there, it is absolutely worth your time. We'll talk to you Friday. Good show, man.
Yeah, man.
Couch in the Roof.